Recording is on.
Okay, so hopefully it's on, and hello, and hi, Daniel.
So so now both of us are recording it.
You're recording it. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay, so
I just wanted to try it if
good.
it works.
It's okay. And first of all, welcome to those who are watching this. Welcome to the whatever YouTube channel. I think I'm going to put it on the Code Maven channel. My name is Gabriel. We haven't been recording for quite a while, some time. We used to have these pair programming sessions, and now we have a new one, and I'm really glad. So about myself, I've been programming for 30 years, slightly more, I think. I help companies with test automation, and I like to write open source code. And recently, okay, so a little background about this, and then I'll let you introduce. So I have been learning Spanish for 3 years using Duolingo, and recently I wanted to switch over and start learning Ladino. Ladino is what is called Judo Spanish. It's is the Spanish that's used by the Jews who were expelled from the Iberian Peninsula 500 years ago in 1492. And I found out that on Duolingo there is no such language training, and I got angry and I started to search, and within a few minutes I found LibreLingo that Daniel, who's with me, started. And there was a short Spanish course, but then I thought, oh, well, I can start writing this Ladino course here. And then I can try to find, once I have some basics, then I can try to find the actual Ladino speakers who would help me do the course. And so far, I managed to write some of the course, and I patched a little bit the application, and now we're going to do a little bit more about that, and it's the Ladino course is going quite well, and my connection to the Ladino community is improving, I think, by the day. So partially thanks to the fact that there was LibreLingo and I started to do this. So it's your turn, Daniel. Please introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself and about the LibreLingo.
Okay, so my name is Daniel Cantor, and I'm the creator of LibreLingo. And basically, I created LibreLingo because I wanted to have an open source alternative to Duolingo and Memrise and the other similar language learning applications. So basically, I wanted to create a platform that people can use to create courses and share it with others. And I wanted this platform to have a web app or mobile app that's able to deliver a consistent experience. So one of the things I like about the learning or teaching style of Duolingo and Memrise is that it's a very consistent experience. So at least, well, especially for beginners, it's I think a good way of learning a language, because I think one of the biggest challenges is to maintain consistency. So even though you might not even though you might get the best information if you consult many different books and plan your learning journey ahead of time and execute an elaborate plan, I think it's not necessarily realistic for most people. And for most people, I think the biggest factor that will determine their success, it will be simply the consistency, because learning a language is something that you have to put an immense amount of time in. And to me, having this consistent experience also allowed to have a consistent routine, which was it also turned into a nice way to start my day. And I was a little bit stressed about the fact that there's no good open source alternative to this software. and I wanted to create one. For the purposes of essentially being able to maintain this consistency and perhaps being able to study languages that don't necessarily have a commercial course. That's pretty much my journey with creating LibreLingo.
And your background in programming, and I just realized that I was looking at the wrong thing earlier, but doesn't matter.
Yeah, my background in programming, I have around 10 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
It will be 10 years this year. I've had kind of different type of programming jobs. But recently I've been focusing more on Frontend. And before that, I was mostly working with data analysts I was helping data analysts with Python code and such. Right now I'm a tech lead at a Spanish company called Kumux.
Nice. Okay, so by the way, just about this consistency thing. So one of the things that is still missing a lot from LibreLingo, I think, is all the gaming part. That sort of for some of us, okay, we like to have these points, get these points, and sometimes we just continue learning the language just because we want to get the points that we did, and to extend the strike of that we continually learn. But recently I was thinking about what is really so valuable about what was so valuable for me about Duolingo. And I, especially now that I'm learning Ladino, that doesn't have a lot of material around, and it's really hard to find. Well, there are a few teachers, but not many. Okay, nowadays very few people actually speak it, but there are lots of. A couple of tens of thousands of people, maybe 100 to 200,000. And the biggest value that I think I got is that if you compare it with, I started to compare it with learning for programming languages. When you're learning a programming language, you write some code and you run it with the compiler or whatever, Python, what doesn't matter, how do we call it, interpreter, and you get immediate feedback. And if your syntax is incorrect, you get immediate feedback. So very soon you will learn how to write the syntax. And then, of course, there's much smaller vocabulary and a lot less rules in a programming language, but you get immediate feedback, and that's, I think, critical. And that's what one of the values of these online platforms and LibreLingo can provide is the feedback loop. So if whether it's writing or speaking, so for example, I just started to play this UTalk, which is another application. And that has a Ladino course. And what they have, for example, that Duolingo doesn't have, is that they speak, and then you record yourself the sentence, and then you hear yourself back. So you can verify your accent, which Duolingo doesn't provide. And it's a totally different thing for the future. Okay, so. Now, what we wanted to do is, so I had trouble setting up, when I started to play this LibreLingo, I had real trouble setting up my environment, partially because I'm not too deep in Frontend and not in Node. By the way, in the last week or so, I did manage to set up. So I'm happy that at least it's running now. Now nice. I have a separate issue that I can't compile or the courses. So the courses are written in YAML files, and then we convert them into JSON. I use the word compile, doesn't really matter. Convert them to JSON, and the application uses those JSONs. And now that doesn't work. And we can look at that, but the main thing I really wanted in this meeting to have is to a little bit go over the source code. It's using Svelte, it's called? How do you say the name of the...
I think it should be pronounced Svelte.
Svelte. Okay. So it's using this front-end framework, I guess that's what we call it, which I don't know. It sort of looks like a little bit like React, but I have no idea. So we can get into that.
Yeah.
That would be really nice. And I have quite a few feature ideas that we could try to implement. I don't know. And I even started some of them. So I'll just give you the ideas. One of them was that we actually talked about that we have issues about this. One of them is to put a cancel button. So when you start a session of a skill, that you can just say cancel. I don't want, just forget about this whole learning session. I don't want to continue because I don't have time or whatever.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that, and with this actually connected, I thought that that should be a pop-up window that verifies that you really want to cancel. And then once we have this pop-up window, okay, the structure of it, then we can use this idea for all kind of other things. For example, getting a help menu or other things. Okay, I'm in my head because I have two screens, and on one of them I have the camera, and so sorry for that. Both for the people who watch, who hopefully will watch, and to you, Daniel. So now I'm turning to you, looking at you, and that's why I'm not facing you. Sorry for that.
Makes sense.
What shall we do? Shall I share my screen? Shall we try to see if I can share my screen? And
yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, if you share your screen.
Let's see if it works, because we are using Jitsi, and this is the first time I'm using it really. And stop sharing your screen. No, I just want to start sharing my screen. Select screen or window. Okay. And it doesn't know. What? Sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, we have a slight problem here now. I'm going to... What am I going to do? Disconnect one of the cameras. So at least we'll have... I think you're seeing now both of my screens, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't tell Firefox to share only one of them.
Interesting. Maybe you can share a specific window.
But you don't see me, right?
No, I don't. I actually don't see at all. Not even in the miniature image.
Because the camera turned off. I can close that window, and then hopefully, so people won't see me. That's not a huge loss. Hopefully my... Okay. Are we still recording? Are we still here?
I believe we're still recording, but yes, I'm still here. Yes.
Okay. I also have this red button. It's it's going to be a very funny video here. This bit. And am I sharing or it's not sharing now?
It's
not sharing, I guess.
It's kind of frozen. Okay, now you're sharing.
Now I'm sharing. So here is my editor, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I can't see you now because my editor is full screen, but it's okay. We can talk, and we can go start writing code. So I'm here in the editor actually. Let me just close everything here, so we can start from 0. And here I have on the command line I have everything checked out, and just pulled the latest. So
nice.
Tell me what to do.
So you don't have any of your dependencies installed or anything like that?
I think everything is already installed here, actually.
Okay. But just to make sure, I would just type yarn install, because you might not have the latest dependencies.
Something might have changed since I ran it last time.
Yes. And by the way, that should be the only thing that you need to do in order to install the front-end dependencies. Okay, so apparently you have an issue with
Wait, we did have something in the documentation saying something else, and now I can't even see that.
So
Why?
you need to use at least Node 14, and I think your Node version is Node 12.
No, it's wait a second. Node. It's what is it called? NP what? Sorry.
NVM. Node Virtual Env Manager or something like this. Node Version Manager. Yes.
Yeah. So I have them. Just I guess the default node that I have is 12. That comes with Ubuntu, I guess. Or
yes.
I don't know. Whatever node we have from somewhere.
So I think you should use something. You should do something about that. I think because that's almost not compatible with anything at this point. I think now that's not supported anymore.
Now I have NVM and I can switch to 14 or 16. So
but I wouldn't use 14 or you wouldn't use 12 as a default.
Really?
Probably 14 is a safe default.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll guess I'll have to remove that. Get rid of that other node that I have from the system. I guess I installed it with apt-get or whatever.
Or perhaps you can put nvm use default in your
in bash
RC, yeah, and then it will be activated. Well, actually, I'm not sure if that will work well. I never tried, but I imagine that's a way you can deal with it.
Okay.
Okay, so now you have the latest front-end dependencies.
Before we go on, where is this file coming from?
Sorry, where is the file for?
Can you see that the browser?
Yes.
Okay, so just to remind you, there is this one.
Yeah. So that is.
Do you still need this?
Yes, because for some reason I could not update to newer version of Yarn. So it looks like you have an old version of Node, but you have a new version of Yarn. So this is
So where is Yarn coming from? That's also some of my system Yarn.
Yeah.
So you should
something. It's something. Sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Right now it works because you're using Yarn 1. So this is a little bit of a confusing thing because there's such a thing as Yarn 1, and then there's also Yarn 2. But actually, this is actually a separate thing from the version of your Yarn command. So basically, there's so to speak, two different concurrent implementations of Yarn that use a different style of managing your node modules. Basically, Yarn 2 has some magic that gets rid of the node modules folder from your working tree. So it kind of works completely differently, and these two versions are incompatible in some ways. And I haven't managed to upgrade to Yarn 2 yet, but I think anyways most people use the classic version of Yarn, even though Yarn 2 has been out for probably a year or two. So probably if we did update, it would cause issues to more people.
Okay.
It's it's a little bit like we used to have the latest version of Python, and we actually had some code that had Python 3.9 only syntax, but some people could just not get Python 3.9 to install on their Ubuntu. So that's why right now LibreLingo is on Python 3.8.
Okay.
So it's kind of a similar reason, but maybe it's harder to decide which one's better, which one's compatible for more people. But I think most people actually won't need to say Yarn set version classic because it will be the default setting for them, I think.
Okay. Good.
So now that you have the latest version of the web dependencies, you should actually be able to say yarn web dev.
Okay, so I'm just also looking at it, so people watching the video will see that we have this documentation.
Yes.
Okay. So where should yarn come from? Should it come somehow come from the node installation? So how would you normally install yarn? Because I installed everything with apt-get, both node and yarn originally.
Yeah, I think it's fine to install it that way, but I'm not so familiar with Ubuntu, so I'm not sure exactly how it works. But I think it's fine to install it that way. I mean, basically, the command that you get, it's kind of a front end for the different implementations anyway. So,
So what kind of operating system are you using?
I'm using Arch Linux.
Okay.
And I'm also not sure how exactly it works in Arch Linux, but I believe that package might just be actually using npm under the hood to install it. So maybe on Arch Linux it doesn't make too much difference how you install it. Perhaps it's different in Ubuntu. I'm not sure.
Okay, doesn't matter. So here we are running the web application locally, and I know that we don't have the Spanish course here.
Yes.
Because I haven't converted it. There is a course which is called test that comes with the source code, which is already comes in its compiled version. Also, it comes with the source code. Something that I'm not sure I like, but now it's really useful that I don't have to compile.
Yeah.
So just for the sake of the video, in the courses directory, there sort of should be the courses, okay, and but most of them are in external repositories, except for some historical reason. The Basque from English course is still here, and then the test directory, and there you have the JSON files, and then there is, and then I forgot now where the other one is. It's where the compiled versions are.
Yeah, so those are in apps, web, and SRC, perhaps SRC and courses. Yes.
Okay. So this one is also which is the compiled version of the YAML files. Well, maybe people don't like the fact that I'm calling it compiled, but the JSON version.
Yes.
The converted version. And it's also committed and whatever. Okay. So the first thing I would want to do is actually convert the Ladino course. So what I did or tried to do is create a symbolic link to the Ladino course, which is next to it. No, it's LibreLingo, Judeo-Espanol, English, and then course. I think I have to symbolic link here from course Ladino from English, right?
Yes, that should work.
Okay, except the slash is always kill me. Okay, so now we have it doesn't like it.
Perhaps use absolute paths in both cases. Just
yeah. In this case, I probably need the full path. So it's let's home Gabor work LibreLingo Judeo-Espanol from English and this one. Yes. So
okay.
So now I have this course. Okay, and there are the scripts, right? Oh, and deactivate. Actually, reach Python. Okay, I lost your voice. I don't know if you are disconnected or.
No, I'm here.
Okay, so I'll. Okay, I am using in a horrible way. I'm using a single virtual environment in Python for all of my code because I don't care. But now I deactivated it. Okay, so because here we are not using virtual environment. Actually,
Yeah.
they're using mostly Docker in most of the things. So and the rest is in this huge virtual environment. So now I deactivated. So we can use the what is it called? Poetry.
Yes. So basically, you should be able to simply type poetry install, and it would install all the Python dependencies.
Okay, and I think I already did this earlier as well. Okay, I guess everything is installed already here.
Yes, I think so.
And then I should be able to run this script, export all YAML courses.
Yes, and actually there's even a shortcut, or yeah, more or less shortcut. Basically, you can type yarn export all courses. And you have tab completion as well, I think, in yarn.
I don't.
Well, okay, so but it's export all courses in like camel case, basically the same as
this case. Okay.
Yes, but not quite. It should be so. It's yeah, the casing's good, but it's one word. It's all one word.
Oh, I wrote in one word.
So so there's a command called export, which is what you're calling now. But you need the command export all courses.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it didn't like me. Oh, yeah, so sort of something like this. This is what I encountered, even though I didn't run it with yarn.
Okay. Yeah.
This
So this is actually a bug that should be fixed in how the scripts are written, because it's trying to run it from a subfolder. So it's trying to basically use a different virtual env for it.
So just a second, for the sake of people like myself who are not that familiar, but I think I do know. So there's the package JSON has this command mapped, like, right? So this is the export all courses, and this is what it's running.
Yes.
Am I right? So this is basically the whole thing that the yarn thing did. Run, execute this. This is the command, and this is what it executes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just basically a shortcut.
Okay.
We might as well have a make file with all the different scripts as targets.
I personally would prefer to get rid of the shell scripts and move to either just pure Node or pure Python there. To use the languages, and especially to eliminate the Linux dependency here.
Yeah. So this is possible with Poetry. So Poetry has the equivalent of package.json, and it also has the equivalent of these scripts. So it's able to run any Python module as a script. So we can probably create, like we can convert this script into a Python script, a Python module, and then that can be run through Poetry.
Okay, but well, let's put it later. I'll open an issue for this, because it would be much better now to spend our time.
Yeah.
Maybe to fix this one if it's really relatively, or we can just work on the test. Like it's okay. We don't have to convert one. We can use this one. This course.
Yeah. So I mean, we can do both, but I think it's better if we start with the front end task, just because it's perhaps a little bit. It's interesting to more people, probably.
And that's sort of our goal here now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you. Or would you want me? Would you like to direct me now, or shall I show what I managed to do so far? What do you think is going to be better?
So maybe I would be interested in knowing how you started implementing it, or perhaps what your intuitions are, because I come with my own assumptions. So pretty much if you come with the wrong like, I don't know, you learned the wrong idea from something, then it's another mistake that we've identified that should be fixed.
Okay, so there are two stashes here that I saved. One of them is this modal cancel button that I started to play with, and the other one was to provide help when clicking a disabled button. So what I thought, if you start learning here, you remember, you see there what happened?
I'm not sure. It's interesting.
Let me restart this and then see where we do get this. Still loading. So these things frighten me. I don't like stuff that's giving me warnings.
Yeah, that should be fixed as well.
Okay. So we are here. That's working. And now if I click on the start button of this one, now it worked. So maybe the fact that we tried to run this other command made something that.
Yeah, because the export command, it will create a statically built version of the front end. To be honest, I'm not sure how that could break the dev server, but that's what seemed to have happened anyways.
That's where I come in, that I can break anything. Okay. So one of the things I sort of thought that would be a nice thing is now we don't have the submit button here or verify. Mm-hmm. And I thought that it would be nice to. I remember that once it tripped me, and I spent I don't know half an hour or maybe a lot more on my mobile app that sort of said, okay, I can't continue because there is no button until I recognized that I just didn't check anything here, and that's why I don't have the button. Okay, I know it's stupid, but that's what I did. Okay, if we look at this now, it appears the submit button. And so I think it would be nicer if there was a submit button which was like, it looked like disabled, but even though you could sort of click on it and then some text comes up and says, okay, you have to check something here. Okay, you have to do something here before you can submit. And it would also be useful probably because it sort of, I think it would be nice if all the buttons were always visible. That would make it easier, I think, to maybe it won't work because there are some places where you want this button and sometimes other button, but so it won't resize the window. It happens to me on my mobile phone that it seems to be when the submit button appears, then things change.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, we can go that way as well. So these are the two reasons, and that's what that was one of the things that I started here. The having let's see this git stash. How do I do this? Show -p, I think, and then I don't know how do I write this one, right? So this was one of the changes I started to make.
Okay.
So I started to think that we have some help text here, I mean, first of all, making the button disabled. That was sort of, so this is what I came up with. It's no, that wasn't what I came up with. This is
Did we
here.
already have disabled buttons?
I don't know. Maybe
Well, I'm not sure anymore.
there is something which is called disabled, but I don't know. Maybe we do. So this is what I put. How can I show if two different buttons there or have that say disabled? I know one of the issues that I noticed. Anyway, one of the issues that I noticed is that when the disable was turned on and off, the button didn't look different.
Yeah.
On my screen, it looked the same. You just couldn't click, which is really frustrating. So I thought that that's not a good solution.
So yeah, I think that the solution is to create the different look. I think simply the issue is that yes, we don't have different look for disabled buttons, but we should have a different style for them.
Yeah.
So I think that the approach that you took originally by passing disabled true in the prop, I think that was a good idea. And
then came this idea with the help. So that's one thing. And let me show you the other one, which is number 0 actually. So here I started with this that in the navigation bar, I said, okay, you can also pass has cancel. And then and then in the navigation bar, you could have this button. Where is it? This is the button actually. No,
okay.
So this would be the button, and then I started to copy basically how you would create a model window using I forgot now. What is the framework that we are using?
Svelte?
No, not that, but that's just Svelte. Or are you using? So I noticed that Bulma.
Yeah, exactly. So the styles are like basically the UI is largely based on Bulma, although there's a project in progress in the LibreLingo repo called UIs or double L UIs.
Okay.
Which is basically, well, the goal of that project is to just rewrite all of, well, not all of, but the relevant parts of Bulma in Svelte, so that we don't need to include like all of the Bulma CSS and also to make it easier to use, because it's not the best to have to pass like CSS classes everywhere or like all over your code. So if we're using Svelte components instead, then we can have some advantages. So one of the advantages is that you don't have to use CSS classes at all, but also we can have type checking using TypeScript.
Okay.
And we can reduce the load times because we don't have to. We'll only include the CSS that's actually part of the components that are actually used.
Okay. So this is how it I thought that the navbar will pass in this has cancel on certain pages, and then just as in some pages there is this has authorization, and then I thought that there is going to be a button saying cancel that will open a modal window, which will say, okay, do you really want to cancel? Yes, no. And then the response to that will either really cancel the process of this what do we call it? Session?
Yeah, it's called session. I think that's what most people have called it.
Yeah, so this learning session, just for someone who's watching now, I would like here a cancel button. Okay? When I realize that I don't want to learn this, or I don't know, whatever, and I don't want to skip them all the way, I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't stop. I mean, if now I submit, okay, now there is a finish early. There was no finish early, and it's sort of okay. I'm not sure what this finish early really means.
So finish early means that it will save your progress, but you don't have to finish the remaining challenges. So if you click it now, you'll basically finish your session, and it will actually save your progress.
In this session, or how do you? Wow, this dog looks weird. Oh, go on. Sorry. Staring at me. So, okay, so what would be actually the difference between cancel and finish early?
So my understanding is that when you say that you want to have a cancel button, it means that it doesn't save your progress. So
why would we want to do either of them?
Well, finish early. I mean, the reason why you would want to finish early, I imagine it would be most of the same reasons why you would want to cancel the session, because you changed your mind, or you got distracted, or you have something else to do. Why would you want to save the progress? I guess because you're halfway through a session and you don't want to like lose your progress effectively.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe then we don't need a cancel button, or we just want to, or maybe we want to have a cancel button only on the first page where we still don't have finish early, or we just have the finish early at the beginning, and well, the user didn't do anything, pressed finish early, so there's no progress to save, and that's it.
Yeah, so perhaps we can remove the finish early button and have a cancel button instead, but this button will behave the same as finish early behaves now, except when you don't have any progress, and in that case it should just lead back to the course page.
You know what? We could have a cancel button, and then the pop-up that the modal window could ask, okay, shall we forget the progress of this? Shall we keep the progress but cancel, or shall we just continue?
Okay. So
we have one button here, and then the modal window can ask what is actually, if the user wants to keep the progress of this current session.
Yeah. So about the model, I think that here it would be better to use actually a JavaScript confirmation model.
Okay. What? So, like just a regular confirm window?
Yes, I think there's. Okay, I haven't used this in a very, very long time, but maybe we can Google it. But I think it's called confirm, the function. Maybe if you Google
it. Yes. I just spent a day rewriting a confirm button in a modal window, partially because it looked weird in a nice UI that there is suddenly a plain confirm button. We can take a look at it, see, and then we can change it if we didn't like. I mean, it's the easier solution now. But it looked really, really weird, and we couldn't figure out how to automatically test it. It just didn't like us.
Okay.
So sort of two reasons to rewrite it, and then once we had this modal window, though we were using some other framework for the UI, it was super easy to use Playwright to automate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're using Playwright to automate it?
We used not this one, but some other application where they actually pay for working.
Oh, okay.
We use Playwright to automate to test it basically.
I wonder if Cypress can deal with that. Cypress.
I mean, I was surprised that it didn't deal with it easily. Maybe we just couldn't find how to deal with it. But the other reason was that it just looked really weird, and I thought that it would be better to get rid of it anyway.
Yeah,
There was an excuse to do it now, and instead of saying, okay, well, we'll automate now and then we'll fix it or replace it later.
Yeah, so this is. I would look more into this. So I would suggest to use the confirm right now, and then we can research it. But I believe that even though it might look weird, it might have some advantages to use the native dialog, simply because it will actually behave like a dialog in operating system.
Okay.
So it will be like, say, if you're on iOS, it will be an iOS confirmation model, or
okay.
If you're in Windows, it will be a Windows one, and it
We'll
will
see.
have the same features.
Okay. So I'll pop this stash, and then we can get rid of my changes, or we can just get started from scratch. That's my maybe the best, and then I'll delete them later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that may be the best if you just tell me, and so you saw my experiments, and then what happened here? I don't know. Okay. Shall I start somewhere?
Yeah, so perhaps the most sensible place to start is to write an end-to-end test for this.
Oh, that's good.
So if you go to your code editor.
Let's start with just show me that we can go there, but let's show me how we run the tests.
Okay.
I don't know how to run the test here, the UI test.
Okay, so the best way you can do it in this case, you can just simply type yarn space Cypress open.
I'm not even sure that this shell has the same thing, so I come back here. Which no.
Well, why don't you just run it from this shell, anyways?
Okay, that's not good. Okay, so what shall I run?
Yarn space Cypress space open.
Open?
Yes.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. An update is available for what? For Cypress?
For Cypress, yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry. What I told you was wrong. You should have run yarn web Cypress open.
So shall I close this now?
Yes, please do.
Yarn web 4 words.
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay.
Perfect. So these are the different integration tests, or well, more like end-to-end tests.
Okay.
So kind of each feature in LibreLingo has a feature file that describes the behavior of that feature. So for example, the thing that we were testing manually, I think that was the short input well, basically the test skill that we were manually testing or using, I think that belonged to the short input feature. So perhaps if you click on the short input feature, it will run the tests using that skill.
So, by the way, I guess I can just run it on the command line, the whole thing, right? Or
yeah, exactly. So instead of yarn web Cypress open, you will have to just type yarn web Cypress run. So you won't have any of this here.
okay,
Like it will just run in your
headless, I guess.
yeah, it will run using headless Chrome, or I guess whatever headless browser is available in your.
Now it's using Chrome.
Yeah, but you can use different browsers. More or less any browser is supported. Of course, it has to run on your computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I have here Firefox, Chrome, and Chromium now, I think. These are the three that I have here.
Yeah, so I think in the...
So it's done.
Yeah,
right?
it's done. Yeah. So it ran all the tests. So please open this short input feature file in your code editor. Just that... yeah, that one.
So it's Cucumber, I see.
Yes. So this is a Cucumber JS feature file that describes this short input feature. And what we should do is create a similar feature file that will just open the same page, but it will test the cancel button or the behavior of the cancel button.
Okay. You don't have anything that tests the forgot it.
The finish early button. I don't know on the top of my head, but I think it's almost it almost certainly exists. So yes, there's certain tests for.
That's just a Svelte file.
But there was I think it's case sensitive. But if you make it case insensitive, you'll see that at least the existence of the finish early button is tested in the different features. So actually, to be honest, we can start with the same approach because.
Okay.
Well, basically, we want to replace the finish early button with the cancel button. So I would say that if you replace all the occurrences of finish early with cancel in all feature files, that should be a good start.
Okay.
Nice.
That looks right.
Yeah, it looks right.
No, I just don't know how to run this.
Okay, I can't help you with that. I'm not. Okay, nice.
I'm using Visual Studio Code now, but many cases I just use Vim. So
perhaps it's a good idea. I should start using Visual Studio Code a little bit just to familiarize myself for the purposes of being able to work with more people.
So what do you use? No,
I use Vim like full time, or actually I use NeoVim.
Okay. So next time we switch to Vim.
Yeah, we can switch to Vim.
Yes.
But I do think that some people have trouble following.
there are a lot of nice features in these IDEs. So
Yes.
uh,
Yeah. But there's a NeoVim plugin called I think coc.nvim,
okay.
which effectively lets you basically install VS Code language servers and plugins in NeoVim.
We can have a separate meeting, separate video about NeoVim. You teach me how to use NeoVim. Anyway, okay. So I just replaced that. Okay. So
Okay, nice. So if you run the test again,
we have this Cypress stuff created here.
yeah, you can get rid of that.
Shouldn't be in git ignore.
Yeah, it should actually, but this was created because I told you the wrong command to run Cypress. And you run it in the root folder, so it created a new Cypress project in the root folder, and that's why we have this. So perhaps there's a different way it can be dealt with.
So just remove them?
For now, you can remove it, but I think the way we should deal with it is that actually we should alias Cypress in the root to Cypress in the web, so that it's actually not possible to make this mistake. So yeah, now if you run the test again in Cypress.
Okay, I need to. It doesn't.
You don't need to stop it. You can just go back to the same window. So you have another Cypress window somewhere.
I have this one.
Yeah, this one. So now you can already see that you get the failing test. It's because we don't have a step implementation for I see a panel with only a skip and a cancel button.
Okay.
So we need to find the step definition for I see a panel with only a skip and a finish early button, and just change it to have cancel button. And
probably have to search for in Svelte as well, right?
In Svelte, no. It should just be in JavaScript and TypeScript files.
TypeScript is TS?
Yes. So
there is one in Svelte.
Yeah, so we don't need that yet.
And the JSs, two JSs.
So let's see this file. Oh no, sorry. There is the first result. I see the challenge panel. Yeah, this one. So this is where we have step definitions. So yeah, you should replace it here. I'm not sure how this view works in.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why two now. It looks like a diff or.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. But I think if you remove the.
Oh, it already told me what would happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just a better preview for what will happen. But I think if you exclude the Svelte files, you can just replace all anyway, because that's the only thing where we don't need to replace it.
Okay.
Yeah, and go back to the same file, because we also need to.
I got that now that the Cypress is running again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's running in the background, and of course now it's passing because we didn't actually change what the step definition means.
Yeah.
So it's still looking for the finish early button. So that's something that we have to fix. Okay, so in that case, we actually did replace it, and it is actually already failing.
Yeah, so there is that.
Okay, so we did replace it. It's just that we're only running a subset of the test, so the other ones actually didn't have this step probably. And yeah.
So we have. What is this?
So that's something that should be ignored in your editor, like the _ sapper folder should be
I remember
completely ignored.
I could tell it, but
and the other two results are from the same folder, I believe, or in any case, these are somehow files that are not generated. Well, they're generated by Svelte, I believe.
And I think I replaced the console with lowercase console in every other place. No? Yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure if that's a problem. I don't know if it's case sensitive. So I guess now you'll see that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because now they should pass if it's not case sensitive. So it didn't run automatically. So perhaps click the refresh button. Well, there's like a restart button.
This one?
Yeah, you can click that one, yes, because it actually doesn't matter. It's just a web page, so it will restart.
Okay. There was this one, I think. No.
It's like in the top right corner of the left panel, which now it's a stop button.
Oh.
Yeah. So that will be a refresh button once it finishes. Okay, so it is case sensitive, so you do have to change the step definition. I believe the file was called IC something.
I don't know. We will have them here, right?
Yes, I see the challenge panel.js.
So in this one, we'll have to.
If you click one of the results, I think
you can click here, and then it will do it in this file. You see?
Oh yeah, okay, that should work. Yeah.
Okay, and it didn't do in the other files. This is the code
nice. And yeah, I believe that one should also be.
Yeah, I think we changed it in two files.
Yes.
And this is db.js. That we shouldn't, because that's the function name. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we didn't change any of the function names anywhere else.
I don't think we have.
Yeah.
Perhaps more things would be failing now. But yeah, I think we would have noticed if we did.
Yeah, I guess so. So wow, many things have changed already. Okay, so here we still have lowercase console.
Which is fine, because that's how it should be.
And it looks good.
Yeah, more or less. I see a potential, or I saw a potential mistake.
Yeah.
But I think in this step definition, it's an uppercase cancel button. So that's kind of weird.
Which one?
I see the challenge panel file. You see like these step definitions. Yeah, there.
Where I point?
Just a bit down. Yeah, you see that it's uppercase cancel button. Like in that word. Yeah.
And here too.
Yeah. So I believe that if you go to Cypress now, you will see that it should be failing because you don't have a matching step definition. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is
okay. Yeah.
whatever. I see challenge.
Yeah, but what do you think? What if we actually change it to keep it uppercase and change it in the feature files? What do you think about that? I think it makes more sense to have it uppercase because it's uppercase cancel in the actual button.
Be uppercase, yeah.
So perhaps the only thing we should change here is to also make skip uppercase. Like, because the skip button is also...
So this one.
Yeah, but I guess all occurrences of skip button in this file could be uppercase. Or I guess actually just imagine that all occurrences of skip, because all other occurrences are also already uppercase.
Yeah. Looks good. Okay.
And then just do the same thing in the feature files. So perhaps if you search for I see a panel with only, I think you'll find the and only search in feature files. Okay.
I see a panel with only skip button, and we want to replace all that with upper skip, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you should still have to replace the cancel to uppercase in the examples that when it does have cancel. So if you search for I see a panel with only uppercase skip and the cancel button.
And here we also want to uppercase. Okay.
Yeah, just for the sake of consistency. So I believe that now none of the tests should fail. If you go back to your Cypress window.
Yeah. So this is using the actually already the JSON versions of the files of the test file.
Exactly.
And that's why you like it to have it in JSON committed.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. And the other reason is that this way, if you make changes to actually the script that will create these files, then you will see in the diff, like in a merge request, you will be able to see how it will change the format of the JSON files. So it's also kind of basically a form of snapshot testing, but also a way to review the changes.
Yeah. What I would probably do, but it might not fit here really, is to move these generated JSON files into a separate directory. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure. And then have a test that, and maybe we already have, that runs all the JSON conversion and then compares to the ones that are committed. And then that test verifies that the changes you made didn't change any of the conversion.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps
that's basically what you're doing with the diff. but Cypress doesn't like us.
I think that you just have to restart it. So sometimes with the auto reload, like a few times, you'll get these timeouts. I don't know. This never happens on. Well, if you run it for the first time, this never happens. But if you make changes and it reloads automatically, then sometimes it gets stuck. But I believe it will pass now.
Okay.
So I think that one possibility, which would probably make it more convenient, would be to create some kind of like hooks that run automatically that will install at least a subset of courses, including the test course, and they will maintain the exported files always up to date, but outside of the repository. And then we can add actually explicit snapshot tests for testing the output. So in that way, we can actually remove the test course JSON files from the repository, with still keeping all the advantages of having them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we changed words, but we didn't change any behavior yet.
Exactly. So now we have to change the behavior of the cancel button. So one of the changes that you suggested to the behavior is that this button should always be visible. Yeah. So if you go to the feature file describing short input test, then I believe that you see that there's after then, like on line 13, you have, and I see a panel with only a skip button. So now the cancel button should always be visible. So I think it should say that I see a panel with only a skip and a cancel button.
So this should be.
Just delete line 14. Yeah, so now you should get another failure because, of course, now it's a legitimate failure because the cancel button is not visible.
Okay.
And actually, I think for good measure, you can replace all occurrences of I see a panel with only a skip button with I see only a skip and a cancel button, because now I think that the first case is impossible with your suggested changes.
Okay. So there are many of these features, and
yeah.
Okay. It's not really good because it's going to change this one as well to the full text. You see? The beginning of it. Can I put a $sign here? Well, it didn't like it.
If you do enable regular expressions, I think the last icon, perhaps.
And then I can put a $sign here. Still doesn't like.
Yeah, because it's a skip button.
Okay. But then I don't even need the regular expression.
Yeah.
Because now it's not a prefix of it.
Yeah. So I think you can replace all of these occurrences.
Okay.
Nice. So anyways, you should get your failure.
Okay, failures, we like failures. Okay. We have plenty of them now. Somewhere.
Yeah, but we're only running one file because the same thing happened again.
In other files as well, I guess.
So at the end we'll run all the other files as well, but
yeah,
kind of, I mean, it's such a similar example that there's no need to keep running all of them. But anyways, I think this is a failure that is just because of somehow the server behaving weirdly. So I'm not sure why this happens, but
okay. Well, learning it again, but we can continue with the.
Yeah, like I think this happens when you are making two changes so quickly that it's still running the changes, but it's already restarting the server or something, and then it's a live reload happens within the test window, and I think it never, or sometimes it doesn't work perfectly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just a glitch of like this auto reload and watch mode and such things.
Okay.
Okay, so you have the failure as expected, and now we should go check out the implementation, because now this will be a discovery even for me, because I don't remember how this is implemented anymore. So we should find the implementation of the cancel button. You can probably use the search all for that as well. Now this time it should probably be Svelte files. Yes. So challenge panel.svelte.
Okay.
And
this is the skip all action.
Yes. So it looks like that it's displaying the button if the skip all action exists. And basically skip all action should not be optional. So I think we should delete the condition, and we should perhaps.
So there's a condition, and there is, what is this?
Yeah, so that's the actual event handler. So you should keep the event handler, but it should not have, well, perhaps, yeah, it should not have a condition. So I believe that this should already make the test pass.
So skip all action was either a function or a null, right?
Exactly. So right now, I think if with this change, the test will pass. But of course, this doesn't mean that everything works as we like, because if we test it, like, okay, if everything passes, we should test it manually. But I believe that it won't work. So we can make a new test case for that.
Well, we have to see what happens really when it's clicked on the first exercise. That probably wasn't tested because it didn't exist there, right?
Yes, exactly.
And
so
it can do interesting things.
Yes, but as you saw, the condition for showing it was that the skip all action is truthy. So null is not truthy. So I believe that it will either break the app if you click it, or nothing will happen. These are the two things.
There's a null, you see. Okay.
Yeah.
So now if I cancel.
Yeah, so nothing happens, apparently.
But is this the first? How do we know that it's the first one?
Because you don't have any progress yet.
Okay.
And if you click submit and continue, and I believe you will be able to click cancel.
Okay.
Yes. So next step is to make sure that this is always supplied, but I think that the best approach is to use test-driven development. So we should first write a failing test.
Well, yeah.
And I suggest that we start with the short input feature, but we should create perhaps a copy of it, and we can just name it like cancel button that feature.
Okay, but why is not just adding another scenario?
I think it's well, because I would not suggest to test it in every single challenge type, because there's no point. I mean, the behavior should be the same. So
Okay.
it's much easier if we just take one example.
So shall I just duplicate the
I guess save as, and then you just save it as cancel button that feature.
Okay.
And then I believe you can call it something like cancel button in a practice session.
Okay.
And I think you can delete line 3 and line 2 or line 4. And you can delete all the scenarios except the first one. And even from this scenario, we should keep line 4. And it's, to be honest, it's mainly line 4.
Does we keep already?
So delete everything except line 4 from this scenario.
Why not do line 4?
Sorry?
This line, you mean?
Yeah, keep that line and delete everything else.
Ah, why?
Because these are kind of superfluous for us. Now,
Okay.
like what we want to see is
I see a panel with a skip button. No.
it's even that is superfluous. We just want to click the cancel button. So if the cancel button is not there, I mean, it will fail. So I would just write, and I click cancel button, or I click the cancel button. And I believe that this step should already be defined, but let's try. So if you go to Cypress, now you should go to the first window, this one, and select cancel button feature.
And it fails.
Okay, step implementation is missing for I click the cancel button. Let's just search, like grab for similar examples, like I click, just to see how it's used elsewhere in the project, because maybe it's done in a different way. So you just say I click cancel. You don't have to say button, but you have to put cancel in quotes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now we just have to actually make this fail. Like, okay, it clicked the cancel button, which worked, but it didn't do anything. And it didn't fail because, of course, we didn't say that we want it to do anything. So we have to figure out what the behavior should be in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And we should describe it. And I believe the behavior should be that it just goes back to the course page. So I think that
there was no test for clicking it at all.
Sorry.
So there was no test for the cancel button or a skip button earlier.
It's possible that there was no test, maybe.
Here.
Okay, when I click skip. Okay, for skip, it's different because it will just progress to the next challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's different. No, I thought.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there would be no test for this, but in any case, but I mean, you can see I could cancel.
Well, that's just here.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that there's no test for this. Maybe, I don't know why. But in any case, I think the behavior that we want here is a bit different, right? We just want the URL to be a specific value. So maybe you should see if there's anything about URLs currently. Like, I don't know, like in feature files, is there anything about URLs?
Like this?
Or it's like course / I open. I should be on course test. So we actually have, yeah.
Like,
so that's a way to test what the URL is after clicking the button. So I think that we should be on course test like this.
well, yeah. That's without the question. That's still without verification. But it's
yes.
And without verifying that we saved the actual progress in the other cases.
Yes, that's true.
Can I add here to-dos? Maybe we can't. How can I add reminders of what, or how would you like it? Because remind us that we still have to test all these.
I think you can add comments with hash mark, like in Python, I believe.
Okay. So, and it keeps running because I keep typing, right?
Yeah, but I think it's perhaps debounced at least. So I don't think it will literally restart for every single key press.
Yeah.
But
I'm out retrying. Okay, so it didn't go there. Okay, obviously.
Yeah. So now we have the correct failure. Now we can actually look at the implementation. So let's look at where challenge panel is used, because I mean, it will be, well, our change will be there. So this will be Svelte files.
Yeah, now it was.
So there's a lot of usages of Svelte files. So we're in short input challenge. So let's just open that file, perhaps. And we can see how the skip all action is implemented.
Is it called skip all here?
I'm not sure. Yeah, skip all challenges. Skip all challenges. And I wonder if, okay, so it looks like that this is passed into the challenge file as well. And yeah, it will be in challenge screen for sure.
This is the function, it seems, right?
Yes, yes. Okay, so it skips the current function, current challenge, and it skips all the remaining challenges. It it deletes all the remaining challenges, and this will result in going to the screen where it will say that, oh, you completed this and that will also save the progress.
Mm-hmm.
So I think here we should have some kind of condition that if no challenges have been completed, then it should redirect to a different URL. So how we get the URL here is maybe...
Wait a second. Let me see how it works. So I go there, do this one, and now if I cancel, it will tell me that this
Yes.
one. And you don't want the screen because you just canceled.
Yes, if you cancel on the first, I think we should still have this screen if you cancel on, well, okay, so, I mean, okay, if you're going by the full example where you have a model where you can either choose to save or not save your progress, then, of course, we might always give the user the option to not save it, but I believe that the simple implementation is that we will keep this behavior except when there are 0 solved challenges, in which case we should just redirect to the course page without coming to this screen.
Okay, so...
And I believe that at least the simplest way to make the test pass, if we're thinking about test-driven development, is to go back in browser history. Oh, well, no, it won't make the test pass because there's no previous page in the test case. So we have to go to the exact URL that the test requires, which will be a little bit of a faulty implementation, but we'll fix that in some different way, I guess. So you have the...
But how do we know, first of all, how do we know that that is the first?
Yeah, so if you look at, I think you have a clue if you look at line 115. So it's the first line that's visible on your screen.
Yeah.
So you have the formula for progress. So progress is solved challenges.length plus stats.skipped divided by challenges.length.
Okay, so we can check the progress.
Yeah, so you can either check if progress is 0, or you can check if the length of solved challenges is 0.
Ah, okay. So basically what you're saying that the user can start skipping from the beginning, and after 3 skips cancel, or the user can cancel immediately, and it doesn't matter, the user didn't do anything, so you don't want to be happy. You don't want this happy screen, you just want to go to, which is right.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's my assumption, that okay, if they didn't do anything, then it's the best to lead them out of this screen the fastest way possible.
Yeah. So, but you increase this task skipped, whatever this is.
Yeah. I mean, right now, this is
Why do we really need this here?
Because there's such a thing as current challenge, and there's such a thing as remaining challenges. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, if you skip everything, then you have to skip all the remaining ones and the current one. That's why there's one more skipped always.
I see.
But yeah, if the solved challenges is 0, then
doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I think that basically you should have you should start this function with a condition that checks if the length is 0.
Of course, this one is a language that needs parentheses.
Yes.
Yes. So in this case, the current. Well,
so I would say that we will navigate to. Well, okay, that's a good way to solve the issue, because
this one we also set the remaining challenges here. The skips we don't need to set, right? Because we forget about the whole thing.
Actually, we don't need anything, because we'll navigate to a different page. So basically, the current page will be unloaded.
So even the current challenge, you don't need to. Oh no, the current challenge is inside the. Okay.
So we don't need in that special case. We don't need anything from the.
So we just return here, I guess.
Yes, but before returning, you should also redirect the user to the course page.
Yes. Okay. So how do we do that? Something.
So that will be window.location.replace.
Replace.
Yes, and then it's just the URL. So perhaps you can just put the URL that we are testing in our test case.
This?
Yeah.
Okay, and no semicolons here?
No, not needed.
Okay.
So let's see what happens.
Damn out.
So kind of nothing happened. I guess let's test it manually, which, by the way, I mean, you can do it here. Because in Cypress, you can still interact with the page. So once it failed, you can still keep interacting with this page. And you even have dev tools if you press F12.
Okay. So should I?
Yeah, press F12 and let's see if there's anything on the console, or if anything happens if you click that button, because maybe there's some kind of failure or so nothing happens. And I think that I think I have a theory why nothing happens. I think that we're simply not passing this
function yet.
Exactly.
That's how we didn't have a button earlier.
Exactly. So we also need to see where this function is used in this file, and is it always passed, or is it only passed if in certain circumstances?
This is the function.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a variable called skip all challenges.
Sorry?
There's a variable called skip all challenges. And let's see the usages of that one. By the way, I think there should be a way to see usages of variable in VS Code. I actually don't know how, but...
How do you mean? Without searching?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know if it will well, I don't know how it works, but source action. Well, maybe references. Show references.
Shift F12.
Yes.
Shift F12.
Maybe for it to work, maybe you need to install a Svelte plugin. But
yeah,
yeah.
Where are the plugins?
Extensions. I guess Svelte for VS Code.
This has the most whatever download.
Yeah.
Let's increase that.
Yeah.
Error loading web view could not register service.
Interesting.
But it's installing. That is okay.
Yeah, enable a plugin. Okay. So perhaps Shift F12 should do something now. Oh, and now you have like syntax highlighting in Svelte files properly.
Okay. But it didn't do anything interesting. Shift F12.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now it's doing here. Okay.
Yeah, so it should be showing all the usages. So I think with up and down arrow keys, perhaps you can, yeah. So we are passing this, but okay, so there is a...
Is correct?
So okay, so I think I know what's happening is that the skip all that this is null by default. I think you should set it to skip all challenges func by default, and then
we don't.
Then you don't need that line as well, and probably you don't need the whole thing with aliasing this function at all. But I think for the sake of simplicity, you can change this to have this, and then maybe we can refactor afterwards. But
I didn't like me.
It's used before its declarations. I guess you just need to move it down.
It's here. And then...
Okay, so what if you simply delete the line 100? Well, yeah, delete this line, and also delete line 105 or something like that, where the other usage of this was. Yeah, 104 now because we deleted the line before it. So I think you can delete the entire line.
Okay.
And now you can rename skip all challenges func to simply skip all challenges.
Okay.
So this was I don't know why I implemented it this way, because this is this was a weird implementation. But yeah, I think now the test should pass if you save the file.
If I save the file.
Okay.
You know, my experience that we just try to write some code, and then a month or 2 months or whatever, whenever we have time, and go back, and then we'll see that, oh, we have no idea why we did this, but
Yeah.
because we were in a hurry, because whatever, you didn't. That's how it hurt. That's how it works.
Yeah. I think there must have been some kind of reason why I did that way, but it looks like a weird way to serve, because it's a side effect that has absolutely like no excuse for existing.
Happens.
So our test is passing. So I guess we finished the implementation of the most basic.
See you.
Yeah, we finished the most basic implementation of this, but maybe just to be sure, you could test some of the other, like say listening test, if it works also in listening challenges.
Let's do everything.
Actually, yeah, let's run all the tests that we have, because.
So shall I open a separate window here and run there, or shall I stop this before? So it won't.
So just go back to your Cypress window, but this one, and if you click stop, then there's run 16 integration specs. Yes, and it will run everything.
Okay.
And it will probably take a minute.
So we can. Okay. Oh, we'll watch it. It's nice watching moving things. We can also do it here, right?
Yeah, you can do it. You can test it manually. And perhaps you can give me a 1 minute break.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. And
So I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. Good.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. So we have some errors.
Nice. Well, not nice, but it was worth running them. 7 errors.
And it's still running.
It's still running. Okay. Yeah, we do have a lot of integration test. This used to take around 15 seconds. But yeah, I think it's not even that the complexity grew that much, but I think one of the main factors is how long the app itself takes to load, because it's compounding. So, like a 1 second difference in loading times, it will be 1 minute if you have 60 test cases.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good sign also to keep it thin. Like maybe now it's almost time to look into why it's loading slowly. But okay, I mean, one of the very clear issues is that we have a missing step implementation. So that's something we can already take note of.
Okay.
And once it finishes, I mean, just so that we can see the total list of what failed. But so far, I think all the failures are because of this missing step implementation.
So how long is it on your computer?
Sorry?
How long does it take to run this on your computer?
I think it takes under a minute. Let me try now again. I'm actually curious because who knows, maybe it got much slower than...
Well, my computer is not that fast anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's because of that. I don't know. I mean, then again, I mean, I guess it should be, preferably it should be fast on average computer, at the very least.
The time, this really 300 seconds?
Yes, 300 seconds, yeah. So let's see how I'll start running it on my own computer.
Partially, it might be the recording and the video.
Yeah. I actually, that can make it a lot slower, I think. But I think even on the CI, it's less than 5 minutes. I think on the CI, it's like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously a much slower computer.
Well, it might be also that that's headless, and the headless might be much faster.
Yeah, it might. Yeah. I actually never tried if it's that much faster.
I have a really nice story back when I was a sysadmin of Windows machines, and we had a file server, and it kept slowing down, really slow. And then I used to go over and look at it, and there was no problem. And it also became fast immediately when I started look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while till I figured out that the screensaver is actually slowing it down.
The screensaver.
Yeah.
Like when you disable the screensaver, is it not that
it was 3GL whatever screensaver, and it was and it was just eating up the whole processor.
Okay, and so that screensaver was not invented for laptops.
Well, it was the server. It was the file server. But yeah, Yeah, it wasn't, but it was really, really weird. That I mean, how that it took a while to figure out what's the story that. Yeah, so we can start fixing the issues, no? And then run it again.
Yeah. So I think pretty much so far all of them are because we have this step definition that
I see a panel with only a skip and a cancel.
yeah, it doesn't have the word button. So I think the issue is actually in the feature files. Somehow we made a mistake when we were replacing the text. And I think that the easiest way to get around the issue that it's running so many files and it takes so long is simply to focus on one file that at least had one failure. Or yeah, we can actually focus on the files that have known failures, like chips.feature and cards.feature. Yeah.
So the cards feature, okay.
Yeah, it has one example. So if you
now, right?
Yeah, you can stop all of this and you can start the
card feature.
Exactly.
And it should fail with the same error, and then we fix it, and then it should pass, and then we know that, okay, that was the issue, right?
Exactly, yes.
So there should be also a button here.
Yes. So it's kind of weird because it seems like it's running two tests at the same time. I don't get it. Like there's a progress bar at submitting the incorrect answer, but also at getting a cards challenge. So I think it's kind of a glitch, maybe in Cypress or something. So I would just reload manually.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Just reload, because I think there's a glitch in Cypress. Because it seems like it's running two tests at the same time, which I don't even know how it's possible. Nice.
Okay, so this is done. So that's it, right?
Yes. So now we can just run also chips feature and listening feature.
Well, I guess we should probably run everything again.
Yeah.
But
by the way, it did run in 175 seconds in my computer. So it was, I guess, considerably faster. And I guess I'm also on the call and recording, except I'm not sharing the screen. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of another reason why to structure the feature files as we did, like creating a separate feature for the cancel button, is that perhaps you don't need to run everything manually locally. Well, in our case, we kind of do, because we changed a lot of feature files. But say if you're making maybe just a small change to the behavior of the cancel button that will only affect the feature file for the cancel button, then you would only need to test that one locally. And I mean, the CI will still fail if there's some problem somewhere else. So you won't miss any failures. So there's another missing step implementation for I see the challenge panel with no skip button. Okay, because I think we made it uppercase, so that's another thing that we need to fix.
Oh, where was it? Yeah. I see the challenge panel with no skip button.
Mm-hmm.
I see the challenge panel. And then it should be capital S.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it? Stop. Or I just need to buy a faster computer.
Or we need to make the app faster, or perhaps delete some of the tests that are not as essential.
Yeah.
Not that it's overly tested. Well, maybe some of the testing approach can be changed for end-to-end testing to focus more on a few happy paths instead of like focusing on all the edge cases. And then we can, so basically, yeah, we can refactor some of the end-to-end tests as just simple unit tests, and then it will be much faster.
Yeah, that's the question. How much we need to test the whole UI thing, and how much can we test the underlying logic?
Yeah. So I believe that what we wrote now, that's fine. But if you look at all the feature files, maybe there are some examples where edge cases are being tested using Cypress, and yeah, that will be the thing that can be moved to just unit tests. So there's a way to unit test Svelte components using testing library, I believe, which would, instead of running it in a browser, it will just run it in a virtual DOM. So it doesn't need that many changes to the components in order to be testable without a browser.
Okay, so we'll take a few more minutes here, at least. Okay. So while it's playing, so this is basically what you would do before you commit and push out changes, or do you have some static analysis that you also run on the Svelte code and the JavaScript code?
To be honest, just because I make a change, unless I change a test file, I won't necessarily even run those before I commit and push, because yeah, I'm trying to not I'm not trying to like run tests that are unlikely to fail. I guess we have the CI to force us not to merge any failing stuff. So I prefer usually just to create a merge request or pull request for myself, and I will see the failures even if I didn't run the test locally.
So you push out into branches all the time, and then you send the merge request for yourself? That's what you do? Or
exactly. That's exactly what I do. And another reason to do that is because we have also visual regression testing. So a visual regression testing is implemented using Percy, which is like an external service that will compare screenshots. And that's only, well, I mean, it's executed on the master branch, but I mean, the master branch is the, or main branch. It's the basis for comparison, I suppose. So if I create a merge request and it changes how something appears on a front-end page, even if this is purely visual, maybe it's just 2 pixels to the left or it's a different color or something, then I will get a failure and it will give me a link to a page where I can like look through all of the visual changes if they make sense to me. So this helps me avoid making sort of mistakes that are close to impossible to verify with like end-to-end test or unit test, but
So
actually break the app in some way.
So we are going to go to get this error now because we changed the text of a button, right?
Exactly. So once we have the passing test, we can create a merge request and see how this works.
Mm-hmm. We still have one error, but hopefully that we can fix, and then we can run only that one.
Yes.
But we are already. So how many tests are there? Do you know?
How many tests?
Yeah.
Let me see. It's 72 test scenarios, I think, or test cases. I'm not sure. It's 72 of something. 73.
Do you see this number somewhere?
Yes, on your screen you see that you already have 45.
Yeah, that's why I'm.
And,
but how do you say the total?
well, I just ran all the tests, so I just I just looked at the same thing that you're looking at, but I already ran all the tests, so I have 72 on the main branch. I have 72 passes and 1 failure. But I think that the failure is perhaps just a glitch.
So here the failure is this one.
Yes. So there's something with this. Maybe we didn't change that step definition. So this is, I believe it's specific for the listening challenges, which have an option to skip all the listening challenges, just in case that you're on the metro or something and you can't hear properly.
By the way, I asked it a while ago, but I didn't get an answer. So, is there a way I have to find out where is any challenge where I can hear something?
Yeah, I mean on
Let's go to the main side.
Yeah, on the Spanish course, it should have listening challenges in every single skill.
So I just go in and I'm supposed to hear something, right?
Yes.
I think I've never heard anything anywhere. So
that's weird.
Yeah, that's what. So shall I just go?
Yeah, eventually you should get, and you can even skip one that. Interesting.
I never anything that speaks to me. Okay, besides this noise.
That's interesting. Well, that sounds like a bug because I don't think there's any conditions that would
I am logged in. We can try to use Chrome.
Yeah,
Chrome.
but I think that even if it doesn't work in some browser, it doesn't mean that it won't be there. It just won't work. So I don't know what's going on.
There should be a visual sign that now it's talking.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's.
So there should be a visual.
Like it. Yes, it will be. It will be like this, but instead of the. Well, yeah, it will be like the typing challenges, but you'll be typing from an audio, so there will be a button for an audio. So yeah, I think we managed to break the listening challenges somehow. And
okay, do you want the screen when I skipped everything?
Oh, you skipped. Okay, that's interesting too. But that's an edge case that we could handle with the same tests, I suppose.
Okay, so what shall I do with this one now? 73. How many did you say?
Yeah, I think that 70. Yeah, 73 should
And
be
one.
Yeah, so I have 72 passes and 1 failure, but it should be 73 passes.
Because I have one new that.
Yeah, you have 1 new test case, so this makes sense. So you just need to run the listening one, I think. Yes, step implementation.
Yeah, panel with only. I see a panel with only and listen something. This one.
Yes. And probably the thing is about the mismatch. So first of all, I think the can't listen now button should also be like uppercase. And then the step definition, I think, has different casing.
I see a panel with only a skip button and a can't listen now button.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it's not really good English, but I see a panel with only a skip and a cancel button and the can't listen now button.
Yeah, but can't listen now should also be uppercase just for consistency, you know? Because I think it's also uppercase in...
Well, it's lowercase in both of sides, so we can change that if we want.
I would, yes. I like it more that way.
Okay. So this was the... Let's stop this now.
Yeah, let's focus on the listening challenge.
Which is called listening feature.
Yes.
I see a panel with only a skip and a cancel. Okay. I see a panel with only a skip, a cancel, and a can't listen button. I see a panel with only a skip, cancel and a can't listen button. Okay. Wow, we have been doing this for 2.5 hours now. What? What did I do?
I think we kind of went through a large part, we almost touched all parts of the front end actually in terms of like architecture, because we looked into how the testing works.
But I totally broke something now.
You did?
Yeah, it like went crazy.
Well, what happened?
I don't know, I'm closing this now because I don't like it. Listening feature, right?
Yes, it's a listening feature. Yes, that one.
Let's see if this was something in between saves or.
Yeah, or syntax error or something like that.
Yeah, that's another really, really fun story I had when we were working on a remote machine, and we saved the file, and then we switched over to the remote machine to run it, and kept getting like really, really weird syntax errors. And it took us again a while to figure out that when we press the save button, and it takes more time to save the file to the remote machine than it took us to switch over with Alt-Tab and run it.
Oh.
So it was half saved. The file was half saved, and we were already running.
Wow.
And yes, that was like, and you get these really, really weird error messages of syntax errors.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, this is basically what's sometimes happening with these auto reload features, I guess, because it's two of them running at the same time and they get out of sync.
So what's now? Assertion error. Let me try to rerun it or.
So basically,
too many elements found 3, expected 2.
Yeah, so because there was a test, I think if you go to the feature file, I think you'll find that there was a test that is just checking the number of buttons.
I see no.
Wait, okay. So it's actually in the step implementation. Yeah, so line 22. So, okay, because it used to have only skip button and can't listen now button, but now we have actually 3 buttons. So.
And I see a panel with only a skip, and this should remain 2, right?
Yes.
Wow. Anyway, weird errors can appear everywhere. Okay, so hopefully now everything is passing.
Yeah. So I think now you can create you can commit and you can create a pull request.
Shall I create a branch, right?
Yes. I mean, that would be a good idea.
Yeah. So this one, the challenge screen, Svelte. I don't know what. And we were in 977. Yeah, extra space. Okay. So, feature, what did we do? Fix?
Well, feature, I guess web. And well, yeah. I mean, it should be lowercase. But replace should be lowercase. Yeah, replace. Yeah. So this will be really long. What if we just say that allow user to skip, or allow user to cancel, allow user to cancel skill at any moment, or cancel session at any moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Okay. So now I create a pull request from here. That's the idea?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's a good idea that we have all this.
Yeah, I've been reconsidering it as well because nobody seems to be filling them. So.
And if they do something, then I guess I don't see. It's hard to see what they added and what was the original text.
Yeah.
So the few things that do people add. So do I even need to? I mean, I can describe here more than what I'd started to describe now, or shouldn't be.
I think it's fine. I'll reconsider what the the correct approach should be here, but I think for now it's fine if you leave it empty.
Okay.
So I think now you'll see that it started running the CI tests. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much in a couple of minutes it should be done. So in the meantime, I discovered that per se won't work because it looks like it broke because I moved the repo to the LibreLingo organization recently, and somehow, even though it has permission, it is unable to run. So I think that we won't be able to try that today, but maybe we can try it next time.
I mean, personally, I enjoyed it, and we made some progress.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see if the video comes out right.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if the recording in Jitsi works at all. At least both of us were recording, so.
Yeah. So we'll see if I can upload it and whatever. Some people find these videos really useful. I personally think that the seeing people who seem to be experts, finding writing all kind of issues and bugs and whatever, and making mistakes, and it has also a very positive effect on other people, seeing that, okay, it's not like just them, that they are like in the dark.
Yeah. And perhaps you could click details at the pending build. So if you scroll down, you see this semaphore thing, and there's details. If you click that, you'll see a breakdown of actually what the tests are doing. So this is perhaps useful to show to anyone who's watching the videos, because I think some people were confused about this. So well, we got a failure, but in that case, I think that one was failing on the main branch. So that's on me. I have to fix that.
We didn't touch that one.
Yeah, we didn't touch that one. But if you look on, we do have a ESLint failure. So that one that one is on us now.
So that if I run it locally like this is.
Yeah,
this is how I run it locally.
But there's even a shortcut. I think it's maybe yarn style fix. You can look in the package JSON to see if I'm telling the truth. Well, I think that won't work, or I'm not sure. Okay, just switch node. Okay.
That's NVM, right?
Yeah, and NVM use. I think NVM use 14 should work, because it will just use the latest or any 14 that you have. Yeah.
Okay. And then
I think it's yarn style fix, perhaps.
Can I have like a yarn list, or just need to look in the package?
Well, there's a command called yarn run, and it will show you the list of scripts that you have. So if you just press enter, you'll you see that actually it should even show you what they are. But if you just type style fix now, then it will run not only the style check, but it will even fix anything that can be automatically fixed.
Yeah, I created this file for myself after I pushed too many issues with the Python code. That's just for myself for now. I don't know if you would like to have this somewhere. It just runs locally with this the basically the same things as the or most of the things, I guess, that the CI runs, except except of the check. I just say, okay, just fix them.
Yeah. So I believe that instead of this approach, I think we should improve the CI experience. So I think we can add some kind of criteria for the CI to only run the slow running like integration test and such if anything that can have anything to do with that has changed. So the CI should finish in like under 1 minute if we don't run that. So in that case, the experience of creating a pull request for yourself and waiting for it to pass and then merging should be basically not worse than running it locally. So I think that would be a better solution.
Yeah, maybe. Though I'm just embarrassed by pushing out too much too bad code too often. So,
but you can always force push your own branch. So
yeah. So this is what we got from the yarn runs.
So okay, we have one error in about.svelte. That's
Where do you see
interesting.
you see the about Svelte?
So you see that it says 4 problems, 1 error, right?
Yeah.
So like a couple lines up, you see
This
error. Yeah, that's the error. So this might even be some kind of indentation error in about.svelte. And I think that this was maybe caused by the autofix. So I don't know, let's see what happened, but
so it changed like tons of code now, but the about Svelte, I don't think that we touched, right?
yeah, so I think you can check out that file. If you check out that file, like basically if you check out any file that you didn't really change, then, yeah.
There is actually a much better way to do that, but I always forget it because
reset. I think yeah.
I think it's newer, and that
yeah. Checkout is deprecated in favor of reset and switch, I think.
Okay. So what about all these other things?
So it re-indented them. I mean,
this is something that we didn't change, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is weird that you got these. It's another thing for me to actually look into. I would say that any file that you didn't change, you don't need to change. So you can reset any file that we didn't touch.
This one, I mean, this one.
I mean, you basically see it on git diff, right? Or git status output. You'll basically see
this one we want.
Yes.
Really? None of the others.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe you can just amend the last commit, like.
Oh, this was in a different window. Was it? Where is it?
This one?
No. This?
Actually, I can't see it because of Jitsi has like a window that covers that part of your screen. Okay, now I can see it. Yes.
Actually, it would probably be better just to push it out and then in the merge to
yeah, you can squash it when you merge it. Yeah. Sometimes I do like to squash things locally for myself, just because I like to keep granular commits anyway. So you can squash them more granular. I say if you have 5 commits, you can squash them into 2 or 3 instead of just 1. So I do like to squash things locally, but yeah, in this case it makes no difference for sure.
So we are back to wherever we were, pull request. And so will the ESLint still fail? No, because we fixed that only thing that we were actually complaining about.
Yeah, I think it should not fail.
Good.
And by the way, that's another thing that I think that VS Code should have a feature for. probably like, I mean, it probably already shows you that the file, well, if you create a failure in a file, I think it already shows you that it's failing. Say you, I don't know, add a couple extra indentations on this in this line or something like that. Or else, if it doesn't show the failures, maybe you need to install the ESLint plugin.
Yeah. You know, though I'm using VS Code now, partially because sort of it like provides methods and whatever somewhere. I don't really like this whole idea of I mean, I see many people who live in their IDEs and then they don't know what's going on behind the scene actually. And, the CI, and then moving from there to a command line CI, the command line something that runs in the CI. It's well, that's part of my job, but that's always a challenge.
Yeah. I especially now it's passing. I especially have this issue with the auto imports. I think they're really useful, but there is the disadvantage to them that people start relying on them, which means that they are never forced to manually find or import anything in the project.
Mm-hmm.
If they can vaguely remember the name, they can import it automatically. And I think this pushes people to sometimes create structures that are not really optimized for, well, anything. Like, because it doesn't matter where the file is. Like, it doesn't matter that you have like // like 5 times in your import statement because the IDE doesn't care. And then the code actually becomes unreadable without the IDE.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this could be addressed with more linting. For example, ESLint rule could disallow any, like more than one .. in an import statement, for example. So there's ways to kind of get the advantages and of the IDEA and the non-IDEA as well at the same time, but it takes more work to set it up, I guess.
Still running. The
yeah,
Cypress.
that's the longest running part.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of considering maybe moving that one to. Well, first of all, I'm obviously, well, in this case, it has to run. But if someone only changes a Python script that doesn't affect the output of the. And I mean, actually, once we make the snapshot test for the test course, instead of actually committing it into the repo, it means that this snapshot test will actually make sure that changes did not influence the front end in any way. So it will be possible to make the Cypress only run if you made any change that will influence front end. Well, that will influence end-to-end experience in any way. So it could be skipped in most cases. But I'm also considering just moving it to GitHub Actions, so it will run completely parallel to these. So effectively, then it would already have been finished, probably. Well, I'm not sure how fast GitHub Actions are, because one of the reasons why we're using Semaphore now is just that it seems like they're giving you quite fast computers. So the same, like it's almost as fast. I mean, it looks like it's kind of as fast on the server as it is on your computer, but in most CIs, it would be much slower. So, which is something that obviously we wouldn't want to have like a half-hour Cypress thing here. Anyway, now I do have to go.
So I'll wait for this and then I can merge it, right? Or shall I let you do this? Or
well, okay, let's wait a couple more seconds if it finishes, because then I'll just merge it now while we're still on the call. But
wow, 3 hours. Okay. It's a record.
Oh, it passed. Nice.
Okay.
So I'll merge it. Okay, it's merged.
Okay. And then, by the way, how do you? So we can finish it, but how do you send it out to be deployed? Is this automatic now?
Yeah,
or?
it's completely automatic. Yeah. So the only thing is that now, because we have this failure in the README files, which I need to fix. I actually have no idea why it's failing. So I need to fix that, and then it will be, after I fix that, it will be deployed. Because of course it won't deploy if there are any failures.
Okay.
Which means that actually we should really avoid having failures on the main branch, because it also means that the course content is not being updated.
Yeah. And we have to separate that.
Sorry?
We have to separate that.
So there it should be possible to separate it, like basically have the scheduled script. Like we could keep like a git tag for the last past commit, and then the scheduled script could run on that git tag. So in that case, it should always keep deploying the course updates with the latest passing software version.
Why is it even connected?
Why is it even connected? Because so right now there's not that much reason. Well, the reason why it has to be kind of connected. Well, no, to be honest, it doesn't need to be connected, but we do need to run certain tests before deploying. We don't need to run like all the tests. Well, no, actually, we don't need to run most of the tests that we have on the CI, but we do need to run some kind of tests to make sure that we're not deploying some defects, basically, or not breaking production. But it's kind of true. It doesn't really need to be connected, because we can just have a completely different, separate pipeline.
Okay, I think I stopped sharing, right?
Yes.
And I open my other one, and then I even show up there.
Yeah, right now I can't see you, but
Doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so wow, it was tiring, but good. So anyone who managed to watch this so far, please join us at the LibreLingo website and start helping us with the building of the application and building courses, because it's great, and that's where the value comes from. Right?
Yeah, and you can join our Matrix community where you can chat with us. So I imagine you will put maybe the link to the Matrix community in the video description, or
yeah, I can put there. It's also on the website. So
yeah,
LibreLingo website.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, and then we'll talk later. See if we can make more progress together, and then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.